of the Public Safety Committee for the City of Hudson to order Thursday, November 10th, 2016. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Alms.
Here.
Alderperson Hall. Here. Alderperson Morset.
Here. Number 2 on the agenda, minutes from October 6th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving in, if your committee so pleases, we'll move to number 4 first.
Number 4.
Discussion possible action to conduct St. Patrick's Thanksgiving Day Fun Walk Run on November 24th, 2016, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Who's going to speak to this? If you'd come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Katie Waldau, I live at 641 Cherry Circle North, Hudson, Wisconsin.
Thanks. Tell us about the event.
We are going to be having a fun run located starting at our parish, St. Patrick Parish on 1500 Vine Street. It's a fun run that's going to, include families, children, and we're going to start about 9:15 in the morning and hopefully be done by about 10:30.
Chief, did you have any concerns or questions in regard?
I know Katie sent me an email that I got late last night saying that they made a minor change to the route, but I think it was just the coming out of the parking lot originally.
Correct.
They're gonna just stay right on the grass along Vine Street to Spruce Drive. They're not gonna go onto the street. And as long as they have volunteers near Wisconsin Street, because they're gonna have to move over, just kind of watch traffic.
Yep.
I don't anticipate this being any problem, especially on Thanksgiving morning. At that time, I don't anticipate there being a lot of traffic, so.
Yeah, we try to have as many volunteers as possible to make sure all the intersections are covered for safety of all participants.
Is there mass Thursday morning?
We will have mass at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's a daily mass, so it's only going to be about a 45-minute mass.
Okay,
And then
So-
the race will be right after, correct?
About 9:15 it'll start, yeah.
okay. Any questions from committee?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes, so we'll recommend to council that we approved it out of our committee. And the council meeting will be on Monday, the 14th.
Perfect, thank
At
you.
7 o'clock here.
Okay, and then we should have somebody present at that as well.
It wouldn't hurt.
All right, perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Number 5, discussion possible action to install speed limit signage on Cooley Trail on County Road F. Sir, if you would take the podium and state your name and address for our record.
Yes, my name is Byron Turner. I live at 419 North Glover Road, so I'm down in Troy Township down there. But my mailing address is Hudson, so. The issue, now I have a page of information here. I'll try to make it short, but basically the issue surrounds Rivercrest Elementary School.
Okay.
And the fact that it is at the intersection of County Road F and the former County Road Double F, which is now Cooley Trail. On that road going south on F, you have flashing lights to indicate, and a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit to indicate the school zone during those times when school is going, both beginning and the ending of the school time. What happens is there's a set of those signs north and south on F, so that you know. But when you turn on to Cooley Trail, and on Cooley Trail, on the about half a mile to the east, but heading west, you will also have a flashing light there and a 35-mile-an-hour zone saying, hey, it's school zone here. But when you turn from Double F, heading south onto Cooley Trail, you no longer have any indication, other than the fact that there's a school right there behind those trees, that you're still in a school zone. What happens is, it's my experience that during those times, which actually coincide fairly well with rush hour traffic, what happens is people are coming in and they're making that turn there, and they don't see any signs. They assume that perhaps they assume they're no longer in the school zone, but they immediately speed up the majority of the people. I can't say all because I don't watch all traffic, but it has been my experience that people will immediately wish to go 55 again. What happens is, I go through there fairly regularly because that's the passage you use from Troy into Hudson most times since they closed the intersection of 35 and Cooley Trail. Most people use that one, I think. What happens is, I'm basically, there's a lot of tailgating going on at that point, then people come right up behind me. And then a lot of times they'll even try to pass, even though you've got the solid line on your part right up to, I believe, Nordic Lane at that point, which is about half a mile east. So what happens is you get people crowding you right there, and they act as if they don't know that that's a school zone. So, but you do, about half mile down, you can see that the sign is on the other side, but that doesn't trigger any response, I don't think. So my question is there any way we can do something about that? I've been to all the other governmental agencies, starting with the government center and moving on through everyone. And apparently it's a problem with who's responsible. If you look at the maps for that area, you'll see that with the advent of the Rivercrest, Hudson City does go down past Rivercrest, come back up and hugs the edge of Cooley Trail, back up to the intersection where Tower Road comes in. So there's that wedge where the school is, and then it goes across. So it's, at least as far as I can tell, it's still the city of Hudson that has that section for about that half mile, which I would think would be your responsibility if it comes to deciding whether or not there should be more signage at that point. I'm not certain what could be done there, whether you could put up another set of flashing lights or some simple sign saying, you're still in a school zone, you haven't left yet, please adhere to the school rules or something. But I would like to see something there, and it's, I don't know how else we can get around that. But it's not usually an issue going the other direction. People do see that sign for the most part. They pay attention to it. But I'm concerned because that's a major entry point to the schools. The bus is there, it's got one of the large school signs right there, and there's really no...
Is your main concern F, or is it
The main concern is
Cooley
Trail.
Trail?
Because as soon as you get on Cooley Trail, that's when people just seem to decide that they no longer have to worry about the school zone because they don't see any signage anymore. They've turned off of F as far as they're concerned. I'm not on F anymore where the school zone is. And it isn't, and there is no signage from there all the way up to the point where the school sign on the other side, which is Nordic Lane approximately. I guess that's what my concern is. There is no indication there as if you've decided to turn off and you don't want to pay any attention to the fact that you haven't seen a sign saying, I'm not in the school zone anymore. That's my concern, so.
So both ways, coming and going on Cooley Trail, there's no signage except for
No,
the
There
first.
is one,
There is one coming from westbound, there's not one going eastbound.
and it's it's got two of the flashing lights, it's solar powered, it's the whole thing. But there's no indication once you turn off off of F onto Cooley Trail.
Marty, any issues?
Well, again, those flashing lights were put in by the school district when they built that school there. That was something that they wanted to see put in. We did get some resistance from the county on it, saying that, legally it should be, that whole zone should probably be 35 miles an hour, and they were a little bit concerned about the flashing lights, but we prevailed with that anyway, we just left them up. So I'm not sure if we want to do the same thing, put it right in that corner, or if we want to put a sign down there that says school zone, slow down 35 miles an hour when children are present, just something like that. It's possible to do that.
That's
See
what
if-
I would suggest first, before
Right.
we move into the electronic sign. We did just approve a $50,000 survey of the full Carmichael corridor up to Rivercrest. So that will also be a part of that
Oh, good.
study. Now, you know how studies last, and
Right.
whatever transpires from it. But in the meantime, I think that we should maybe start with the signage and maybe some flags.
And we could put a sign up there that says, school zone 35 miles an hour when children are present. So that way, when the school's going on, they know to slow it down.
Yeah.
I would
Any other,
agree. I would agree with that.
any other thoughts?
Sounds like a good plan.
So we will do what we can and monitor it, and feel free to get back in contact with Chief Jensen in regards to whether you've seen a difference
Certainly.
or not, and then we can readdress the issue at the time.
Anything we can do would be great, at that point. I'll even kick in $100 for a sign if it'll.
Careful about it.
That's my limit. To get things back.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thanks for coming in, Mike.
What's your pleasure?
So do we need a motion
Yes.
to approve the sign?
And we should probably recommend it to Public Works, or just go to full council?
I think you just go to full council.
Okay.
Okay, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second, but I have a question.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yes. The only question would be just verifying that that is City of Hudson. Is that, can you tell from the chief?
Well, obviously these are the city zone right here. So, this is part of the city and through here, this area over in here, and then it comes through right here. So I think if you put a sign somewhere in this zone right here, then we'd be fine.
So as long as you're before Tower Road.
Right,
Between
it's
F
before
and
you get,
Tower
it's
Road.
before you get to Tower Road, then it,
Then both sides of the highway are.
Right.
Are in the city of Hudson.
And if it's an issue, we can work with the county.
correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back up to number 3, discussion possible action to conduct an EP Rock Elementary Fun Run Walk on May 6, 2017, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Chief Jensen.
I was kind of hoping that somebody would be here from the, the parent group. But what they want to do is they want to hold a fun run, basically to help raise money for their parent group. They want to run it on May 16, 2017, which is a Saturday. The map is attached. They're going to run 2 courses. They're going to have a long course and they're going to have a short course. The courses are similar to what the Hot Air Fair runs for their 5K, so it's very similar. They're going to have, the recommendation I would make is to make sure that they have enough people at these intersections to make sure that they're, watching for traffic and so forth and so on. I don't see any concerns with it for the most part, especially 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday in May. I don't anticipate a ton of traffic up in that residential area.
When is Memorial Day? That's not it, is it?
No, Memorial Weekend is
The end
towards
of
the end of May.
Okay.
There might still be snow on the ground on this day.
Oh,
That's it.
don't say that like that.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 6, we will move to postpone indefinitely.
Yeah, I got an email from Larry Weinman saying that because of the decision that the management of Summer Pines has made, he said, I have decided to drop my request for a variance at least until another group of people represent us on the board. Please take this matter off the Public Safety Committee agenda.
So you move to
Oh.
postpone indefinitely?
Yes.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discussion, possible action on walks, runs, race policies.
I know Catherine put out on her listserv, and I sent it out to the Wisconsin Chiefs Association, and basically all I got was this back from Glendale. It does have some good requirements in it, something to take a look at. I did forward you an email that I got from Catherine regarding maybe adding something to subsection 8 of 212, which talks about streets and sidewalks. Possibly maybe looking at, if they're gonna shut down the street, getting a permit or something along those lines. There are some good things in this Glendale. policy, but I guess that's the thing I would like to know from the committee. Do you want to be a policy, something similar to our sign policy, something that you got to go with, or do you want it to be something similar to Glendale's where it's an ordinance? This is the way it's gonna be. You gotta do this, and then get a permit.
I'd like to see an ordinance in it, but I don't know what the pleasure is of the
I would
committee.
I think that's a good idea,
a
based
very
on the
good
problems that we've had, I think that
Okay.
we need to point to
And
the
then-
ordinance. Mhm.
Have an ordinance specifically targeting parades and stuff along those lines? Okay. All right, well, that kind of expands that area a little bit.
And we didn't really get our agenda until what, this morning? So did everybody have a good chance to read through this?
I did not have
I
a
did
chance
not.
to read
And
through the
so-
whole thing.
I
Well,
think you should
I'm
move
gonna
forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to bring this back. I just wanted you to see what I had and see if you had any other suggestions or ideas on what you wanted to do. I definitely will get with Catherine, we'll start working on that.
And I do want to incorporate her ideas in there.
Right, and
as
that's
well.
into the subsection. Maybe that's something we can put into that section of streets and sidewalks, that if you wanna have a foot race or a parade or something along those lines, you need to go through a permit system. Now, she was talking that if you had a permit system, that there would probably be a fee involved. And normally, what's gone on in the past is people have just contacted me, given me everything, and then we've come to the committee. So, they've never paid a fee before, so that will be something new that we would have to bring forward. The people that do large assemblies, anything over 1,000, they already pay a fee anyway.
Right.
It just comes down to these smaller,
I think if you put a
Festivals.
monetary value on something, they're gonna appreciate what they need to do in a more responsible way,
right,
if you will.
So right now, so for example, these fun runs, they're not paying a fee,
correct.
so if we had.
'Cause I'm not even sure, are you gonna collect money? No,
It's a free will offering.
right, so,
In the past we have, but we switched it over to a free will offering.
right. So a lot of these that are, well, some are fundraisers, obviously they're gonna make some money, so that's not a big deal, but some of these other ones that are fun runs, like the Willow River School does two of them, one in the fall and one in the spring, just to get their parents and kids out walking. So,
I
should we
think
put a
if we-
provision in there about maybe waiving something along those lines
Yes.
for
That's what I was gonna say.
nonprofits or
For
something
nonprofits,
along those
mhm.
lines? Okay,
Mhm.
that's something we can
That's-
take a look at.
That would be reasonable. Mhm.
So do that, and then we have time to read through it and put some
Right,
ideas as well
exactly.
together.
It probably gonna take a little bit for Catherine and I to sit down and try to
No,
go
that's
through
fine.
this, so.
It's winter time. You
Right.
guys are grandfathered, don't you?
That's why I asked the question.
All right, so we'll have that on our next agenda, maybe the next couple, or?
I'll keep it on the agenda, but if I don't have anything, I'll just let you know, so.
Yep. Number 8, discussion possible action on the storage of the MC1 van. I pulled it from our council meeting for the approval, didn't fit in the golf shed. And it's
That's kind of
It's
important.
kind of a good, expensive piece of equipment that we can't really bend into there. And now I have not had the conversations with any other departments yet about where we could possibly store it.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you've got any ideas, you?
The only thing I could think of would be the west garages over there, but Public Works has those up. The storage unit that we currently have for our, evidence down by the impound garage is a bus garage. So that would hold it, but that's a unit that we use for storage. So we would have to come up with something else if we gave them that. But you would need something that big, because with the doors that were over at the golf course, their antennas were snapping and cracking and,
Right. So, let's put that on the next agenda, unless you guys got some other ideas, you two or not, for storage. I mean, obviously, you guys ain't giving up any.
well, and one of the discussions they had is depending on what happens with EMS
Right.
going forward, they thought maybe there might even be room down here, but I said, we don't know where fire is gonna go. Fire might be taking that up,
No,
so,
no, I don't want anything to impede our fire department.
right,
Yep.
And I think he understands.
yeah.
So, let's postpone it to the next meeting till I can have a conversation and look at some of the other buildings, and obviously there's some other things coming down the pipeline as well.
Right, right.
That's, obviously, we're bursting at the seams with no room, and we're moving our stuff all over.
I'm not even suggesting.
No,
you
but
guys-
one thing we met, one thing I was gonna talk about, we met with 5 Bugles for our first meeting with the needs assessment. I can let them know, that this is something that, down the table, might come about. I have talked with, Mr. Takash before a little bit about, they might have some interest, possibly even looking for space or building space. I don't know where this is all going,
Right.
but I will always keep that in the mix and keep going with him.
Right.
So if something ever does come up.
And he did, this morning we talked, he did say that down the road, 3 years or so, they may have a new one, so
Yeah.
who knows what it's gonna be.
So, no, and we appreciate it and we use it. So, the closer it is, I think it's advantageous for the citizens of Hudson too to have it closer. So if we can work together with them somehow to get it here, I think it's a win-win for them and us, so.
Right. Thanks. So we'll put that on next schedule, thanks.
How tall of a garage door do you need for?
Boy, I don't know, what,
Well, I'm not sure of the height, but it's almost like a motor home,
Oh, it's a motor.
but it's elevated up higher because it might have to be out in the field or something like that, so
Okay,
it's
yeah.
up a little bit higher than a normal, like Winnebago would be, so.
Okay.
There's gotta be just limited amounts of
Right.
places.
So they were able to get it into the garage,
what
but
their
their
antennas-
antennas were catching on the garage doors and they were going back, and they were afraid that if one cold day it might snap one, and then they're looking in the process of getting a brand new one that is bigger than the one they got. So,
he didn't say that. He said I thought he meant it was gonna be smaller, but
no.
Where is it being stored now?
Baldwin.
Currently in Baldwin.
Okay.
So if they have an incident, their dispatchers have to leave from here, go to Baldwin,
Yeah,
and if
that's
it's in
right, I
Hudson, they
remember
gotta
that.
come back here, so.
Okay.
All right, number 9, I think we're coming to the end of this discussion, possible action on traffic safety issues on Vine Street.
Wanted to keep this up there, because what I did is on the 31st, I put our speed county device out. It was that black box that was sitting on a telephone pole. Nobody even noticed it going through, and it catches traffic in both directions. The battery, we put it up, it started counting a little after 9 o'clock on that Monday, and then at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, the battery ran out. In which it'll do in the colder weather. So I got a good week's worth of data. And if you take a look at it, you'll see that there is a speeding issue on that street. You will see that I did find that there was one recording that somebody went about 75 miles an hour on the street. Now, I think it's an anomaly because it was at 1:12 in the afternoon and it was going up the hill. If somebody was going 75 miles an hour up that hill, I would have heard about it. What I think was happening is 2 cars were going by at the same time, and both of them, I think, were going like 35, 40 miles an hour in that area, and they hit that radar spot at the same time, which gave that bigger signal, which caused it to read 75. But some of these others that are in the 40s, 50s, we got some in the 60s in the evening, I believe are correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I showed this to my husband and, he suggested the same thing on the really
sev-
fast
yeah,
one. He said,
yeah.
That's probably an anomaly, but,
Right.
yeah, the other ones are probably real.
So, putting this information together, I add the data, there's a form on here that tells you when the best times are to run radar for enforcement purposes. And every day, except for Saturday morning, obviously, because it doesn't have a lot of data, is 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock at night. So, for the last 2 days, I've had an assigned officer working from 2 to 6 on Vine Street. If you've noticed that they have been stopping traffic left and right.
I think Bill was saying he got pulled,
Did you get pulled over?
No, I didn't get pulled.
So, they've been told, anything over, 33 miles an hour, you stop it. I mean, 33 and above, you stop and you make contact. So, they made 17 stops yesterday. They wrote, I think 5 traffic citations where people actually got tickets, and then the rest were warnings. And then today, she's out there right now working, and she's got at least 12, and she's written 7 citations. Now, not all of them were for speed. There have been some for expired, no valid driver's license, other anomalies, but we have been visible out there. We've been telling our guys to be visible out there. We're going to continue this program for the next couple weeks, and then we're going to kind of back off a little bit and then go back. The other thing, and I know we talked about this earlier, notice the speed sign has now been out.
Yeah, are the flashing crosswalks up?
No, they are not up yet. I don't think that equipment has come in yet.
Okay, but
But,
Well, at Fourth Street, there's a,
is 4th Street the flashing one in?
that's what I saw on the way in here today.
Well, then it must have just come up. I haven't seen it yet.
okay.
But this new radar unit, the one that the Public Works bought, is one that's got that strobe light display. So if you get to like 28 miles an hour, getting close to that 30, that thing's gonna start strobing at you. And it gets your attention. So, and some of my officers that have been doing this detail said that they've had people coming down the hill and they've got them on radar and all of a sudden, it comes down and they're not seeing them, they're seeing that sign. They said they're slowing down.
And they let them go then at that point, or? do-
Well, it just depends on where they lock them in at.
Okay.
You know, but they have been, we told them 33 and above, you start making traffic stops.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they've been doing. So that's where our tolerance has been for right now. We could reduce that tolerance, but we want people to be, we want to be very visible out there. We want these people to know, hey, we're going to be out here, we're going to be enforcing this thing, and if you are breaking the speed limit, you're going to get pulled over.
Good. Have you guys had conversations with your first responders as well, all you chiefs? And whether they're staying within the limit or 10 over, is it, or is they
Are
supposed
you, are you talking about the responders, the
coming into the
volunteers?
station?
Yeah, Marty and I have talked about, we have training every year, we talk to them, and I have not heard anything as far as complaints at all. And
Right.
During the issue, it was brought up to us that it was first responders or the vehicles, the emergency vehicles themselves speeding. Now, I'm not questioning that, but there is a limit with first responders, right?
Well, first responders in their personal vehicles aren't
With their
supposed-
lights and sirens.
They
right?
can't be breaking the speed limit. They have to maintain the speed limit.
Some
The-
do
the-
and some
The
don't.
lights and the siren let them know, hey, people move over, this is a first responder's coming through, but they're not supposed to be speeding.
Yeah.
and
Now,
if-
our emergency vehicles, we have to move with due regard with what's going on at that time.
Yeah, and I think what happened was last year we had talked, they had mentioned somebody, and anytime we get a complaint, I always say, let me know, we follow through.
Yeah.
Marty and I have, and Brandon, and we address it, but if it is someone, we need to know the car and the license, and we follow through, and we
I'm
have the
just-
right to take, if there is any issues, I will take away the rights, but I think part two is sometimes, because they have the lights and siren, it tends to look maybe faster than it is, and I think one of the other complaints was about the fire trucks themselves, and 99% of our time we're lights and siren, we're going up Vine, and
Yeah.
the likelihood of speeding up Vine with our rigs is pretty unlikely, but again, it's very imposing, you have the lights and the siren, and it is, but we'll follow through on any complaints, and we'll follow through if we hear anything.
Just
so.
want to keep that in mind. though, that-
Right, exactly.
We want to follow through. On the flip side is we're very fortunate to have people in town that, do it and get out, and we're able to keep our response times down by doing that. It obviously helps the citizens too, so we can get a truck out the door a little bit quicker too, but we want to do it safely both ways, so.
Mhm.
The one other piece of information I just thought would be interesting is that I counted up, we had just over 27,000 cars that went through the speed study during that time period. So that-
Vine Street?
On Vine Street. That's a lot of vehicles going through there in 5 days. So it's getting a lot of traffic.
Well, just
But
your
again-
numbers for afternoons
Right.
sitting out there,
Right.
that's quite a few.
Mhm.
Correct. So, but I do think the word is getting out. We'll see what happens. If our numbers keep going down like I anticipate they're going to, yeah, we'll have nip that in the bud. And again, that speed sign is working great.
Good. Any other thoughts or questions from the committee? Number 10, EMS updates.
Since our last meeting, we've filled the one full-time spot, and we still have one vacant spot we're gonna work to fill this month. We're gonna start posting in the middle of the month. Other than that, nothing new.
Fire.
As it stated earlier, we had a meeting with 5 bugles, first meeting with myself and 4 officers, about 2.5 hours. They're just beginning that needs assessment and hopefully continue work with them. We're realistically looking February or before for the completion of the study. again, we're kind of in limbo with everything going on too, with not knowing where EMS is going and the issues, and trying to address our space needs that everyone's been fully aware of for a long time, and just keep kind of plugging away and putting stuff where we can for now. So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to see what they have to say and what we can do within our parameters of buildings and space and everything that we now have, or possible future expansion. We took delivery of the new rescue pumper. It should be in service within a couple weeks. We have to put all the tools in, have all them done. We have a fire comm system that we're waiting on. That'll be hopefully put in within the next few weeks. So looking at about 2 weeks to have that fully in service. The other one has been sold to Dallas Fire Department. They bid on it, which is good. So that was gone the other day.
Dallas,
Yeah.
Texas?
Dallas, Wisconsin.
It's high. Oh, wow.
No, but it is Dallas. So, yeah, so that's been doing a lot of work on that. A lot of the guys have put in a lot of time trying to get that ready, and we're working with Foreman Fire getting it ready, so that's good. Also, the SCBA's, that bid is up, and it looks like they came in about $9,000 under what we had budgeted, so that's good.
Yeah.
That'll be coming before the Finance and Council, hopefully on Monday. So if we move forward with that, that was from the 15-16 capital CIP, so that should be in, and hopefully we're going to take delivery in early January. By staggering until January, it helps us just with if we take delivery early January, then we'll get our 15 years, kind of that, just budgeting, it makes more sense. Plus our existing ones, we have several that need to be fixed that we're holding on, that need, quite a bit of money stuck into them. So we're looking forward to getting those and getting rid of the other ones. So we're kind of working on that. So that's exciting. We came in a little under budget. Kind of real happy about that. So
Good.
And that's about it.
Marty?
I believe this has been since the last meeting, but I'm down another squad car. Obviously,
Yeah, well, thank God she's
incident on
safe.
94, yeah. I'm glad that Hillary wasn't hurt, and that it was just minor injuries. So, the insurance company has totaled that vehicle, but with it being totaled and all the equipment inside of it, we're only gonna get about $30,000 total for everything. And it's gonna cost us $45,000 to $42,000, somewhere in that area, to redo the whole thing. So we're gonna have to find some money somewhere, but I don't worry about that when I get to that point. So we just graduated our fall class of the Citizens Police Academy. Went very well. It was our largest class. We had everybody in the class went for a ride on the taser.
Really?
Everybody.
Well, before, with the first class, was just me, right?
No, Mary Yakub did it
Yeah.
too. Yeah, just the two of you. But everybody went for a ride. So that was.
5 seconds, Bill?
I did not make that meeting.
We didn't make the
So not everybody.
Everybody that was there took a ride. All right, let me rephrase.
He got it with a speeding ticket.
He showed up for the fun thing. He showed up for the
Yeah,
driving
driving.
course. So that went very well. We're gonna we'll have it again next fall. So look forward to that.
That's a good program, and I
yeah,
think, we talked about that this morning, to integrate something like that for the county to do that. So more citizens are more involved out there, and what you guys do on a personal level, you get to know officers on a people level, not just a badge, and not somebody that's just there to arrest you.
Right. It's worked out very good. And the other thing is that when they graduate, we let them do a ride along with our officers, and they get a great understanding. Some people have gone through the class twice. So it's been enjoyable. Everybody has a good time with it. So our newest officer, Pat Wilkins, is Watkins. I'm sorry, I can't even get that right. Been going through his FTO program. He's doing very, very well. We anticipate him being out probably first part of January, and we're going to look at starting the eligibility process. Interviews coming up. We just got the test results back, so I'll meet with the Police and Fire Commission next Tuesday or Wednesday to go over that and set those up. So the other thing is that Briscoe will be retiring next February, but I've got a slot now at the St. Paul Police Canine Academy, and we've got enough money in our canine fund through donations to pay for the whole thing, so it won't come out of our police budget at all, so.
Are you switching officers or?
Going to be selecting a new K-9 officer to take over, and then they'll start their training in March. So we'll have a brand-new dog next year. So we're kind of looking forward to that. And that's all I got.
Any questions of any of the chiefs? Any items for the future agenda? I just want to remind folks that tomorrow's Veterans Day, so thank you, veteran. Public offices probably closed. Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.